And welcome back to the WSCR Morning Roast. Ian Sachs, Robert Boncardo here on the morning show, bringing you all the action on a little rainy Tuesday morning. Not as bad as yesterday, but a little rainy. Rob, before we get into professional athletes, I did promise our viewers that we would talk about some pros and stop talking about ourselves, even though we are the most fascinating things in the world. I know. We have to talk about other things. Before we get on to that, got to give a shout out Chelsea Taylor Harris, usually on the morning show with us, not here today. Chelsea, if you're listening, we wish you well. She was sick, so we said, you know what, Chelsea, don't worry about it. We'll hold down the fort, and so far we're doing that. So Rob, let's continue doing that, shall we?
Oh, we definitely most. Wait, big shout out though, Ian, tonight for Chelsea with her story slam tonight. Big event tonight. A lot of stories going to be told. Guys, it's going to be a great event. Just come out and have a great time.
I have a little promo read that some of us typed up. Yours truly. Every person has a journey. Every journey has a story. Find out the most influential stories in the lives of your friends tonight at Story Slam. The Iona College Speech and Hearing Club is hosting a forum for members of the Iona community to tell their stories. Find out your friends' inspirational stories tonight at 6 p.m. in Burke Lounge in Spellman Hall. Chelsea, giving you a shout out. Chelsea Taylor Harris, Pecan Sidori, running the show there. It should be a great event, Rob.
Oh, most definitely. A lot of good stories. Chelsea was very hyped up this weekend, so I know she's really prepared for it.
Yeah, Chelsea told me about it a month ago. She said, "Sax, you're coming to my event on April 23rd or on April 21st." And I said, "Yeah, what time is that?" And she was like, 6 o'clock. And I said, "Okay." So then I every time I see her, I've heard about it just about every single day. She's made sure that I remember April 21st, 6 o'clock, Burke Lounge. So I think I have to be there.
It's been engraved into our minds.
It has been. Hey, that's great promoting there.
Yeah.
But anyway, Rob, where are we going pro sports?
We're going to go right now to the NFL with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Antonio Brown, Ian, the wide receiver of the Pittsburgh Steelers, looking for a new contract, skipping the first day of workouts. And Ian, I mean, this guy had his best year last year, 1,698 yards, 129 receptions, and had 13 touchdowns. Definitely a guy the Steelers want to keep around in their system after we've seen in the past what's gone on with Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace, players that they've kind of traded out, their top wideouts. If they want to continue to excel with Big Ben, they have to keep the great players on the field with him.
Absolutely, and I know how good Antonio Brown was last year. I had him on one of my fantasy teams. Again, I had 4, so I don't remember exactly which team he was on, but he was a very solid player, at least from fantasy standpoint, and fantasy is based on reality. So he was a very pivotal player in that offense for Big Ben, helped to lead the Steelers back to the playoffs. And, you know, if you want Big Ben to do Big Ben things, you got to put talent around him, because you can have the best quarterback in the league. If he doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to, he's not going to be the best quarterback in the league.
Oh, most definitely. Now, the thing I have to ask you, because, I mean, Antonio Brown's still in his contract. He's finishing up his contract that he's in right now. This is a kind of a trend I keep seeing in the NFL. I don't like it, where players sign their deals and then don't want to live it out. They want the extension right where it comes to an end. And I feel when you have that contract, you play till the end of it. Stop forcing your way where, I'm forcing a contract, because it's kind of rude to the team. We've seen it with, as a Jets fan, we've seen it with Darrelle Revis a couple times where he signed his big contracts, then wants an extension 3 years into the contract. And I mean, do you think it's something in the NFL that needs to start getting looked at, like fixed around, where players need to stop with the skipping out on like their programs and working out for this reason?
I think so. And when you look at it, look, you signed a contract.
Mm-hmm.
You said, I'm going to play football for you. You're going to give me X amount of dollars.
Mhm.
Playing football doesn't mean showing up on 16 Sundays and potentially a few more if you make it to the playoffs. But let's just look at the regular season. It doesn't mean, okay, I'm going to show up for 16 Sundays and you're going to pay me X amount of dollars. It means you have to do all of the work before Sunday, before the season starts, before preseason, in the off season, all your workouts, staying in shape, meetings with your position coaches, meetings with, say, the entire offense, meeting with the quarterback. You have to look at everything that goes into producing a good game on Sunday, not just saying, you know what, I'm here to play the game.
Yeah.
Because if you have that mentality that I'm just here to play the game, then if you want a new contract, it's not going to be as nice as the one that you currently have.
Oh, most definitely. And I mean, some of these guys, as you said, when you sign a contract, you know what you're getting into from the start. You know exactly what you're getting into, and it's something you stay loyal to. It's nothing, oh, they need to work out my contract. No, they don't. That's your choice. You decided to sign it for the X amount of dollars. Nobody else told you to do it. You made that deal with the ownership, and you're going to go to your workouts, you're going to go to training camp, and you're going to be fit. And you're going to play all 16 games and eventually the playoffs. And that's what these guys have to start realizing. Stop worrying about, oh, this guy makes this amount of dollars, because that's all it's coming down to now. The NFL, yeah. You know what? Antonio Brown, 26 years old. He's going to get a nice, decent contract. Stop worrying about what everybody else is making in the NFL, because all players really care about, nobody cares about teams anymore. Back in the day, people were loyal and cared about, I want to win a championship. Now, it's about, oh, is this guy making $30 million? Then I need $35 million a year because I'm better than him. Stop realizing that. It's time to be loyal to your teams. You know what? In the end of the day, money doesn't really matter at the end of the day, because you know what? No matter how much money you have in the world, you won't always be a happy person. That's how I always put it. But you know what? These guys need to start realizing, be loyal to your team. That's what the fans come out for. They support you. How many kids do you see wearing your jersey? How many people do you see going out every Sunday putting up signs for you? That's what it's all about. It's not about the money. It's about making respect, staying for your team, and eventually winning a championship.
And that's why so many people are heralded when they take pay cuts to stay with their team, so that the franchise has more money to go out and get better players. Look at the way Tom Brady has done it. I think he restructured his contract to save the Patriots $24 million so that they could go out and put a better team on the field around him and compete for championships. And look at how they've done with that. 4 Super Bowl championships for Tom Brady. But even if you look at since then, since the first 3, which was when Brady was young and an up-and-coming quarterback, 3 Super Bowl appearances since the first 3 titles in 4 years. And every single year, Patriots 10-win team in the playoffs, first-round bye, and have deep runs and go to the Super Bowl. It's not because they have 53 guys who say, you know what, I want my next contract next year. If I don't get it, I'm not coming to the off-season workouts. They go to the off-season workouts. They know that the way that they're going to get a better contract, get a better team, is by doing all the little things, all the extra things that you see the result of on Sunday, but you don't see on Sunday.
Oh, most definitely. Now, imagine Brady, and Brady doesn't want to take that pay cut. Brady's probably making about $20 million a year if he doesn't take that pay cut. And imagine how you affect a team like that. Will the Patriots be back in the playoffs like they always do? We look at what he did this offseason. That was to bring Darrelle Revis back. But Darrelle Revis was settled on the Jets. The Jets gave him a bigger contract at the end of the day. But, I mean, it's stars like Brady that impress you every time, because those are the people who are, I've been part of New England my whole life. First of all, I'm a 7th-round pick. 7th-round pick. This team trusted me. Bill Belichick made me into a starter after Bledsoe gets knocked out by the Jets. And I eventually am loyal to this franchise. I bring them 4 titles now, beating the Seahawks this season. And you just see the loyalty in some players. Other players, it's like, really, like we look at Sue. Do you really need that amount of money for the Dolphins? Did the Dolphins really have to throw out that amount of money to him to play for a team like that? Is he really going to change the whole dynamic of the team? The Dolphins will always be the same. Maybe they'll be a better defensive team. Offense still going to struggle with Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. So it's things like that that really seem to continue to bother me day after day in the NFL. And I mean, if you sign a contract, you play till the end, then once your contract expires, that's when you start negotiating. We need a new contract, not forcing your way. So, instead of me making $2 million in the last year of my contract, I'm now making my team pay an extra $16 million.
It's ridiculous, but it's all part of the, so to speak, quote unquote, me generation, that people don't care about their teams. They don't care about winning championships anymore. They just want to make the most money possible and say, hey, look at this, and brag. Now, you talk about Darrelle Revis, and I want to get your take on Revis. He goes to the Patriots, wins a championship in his first year. Don't you think that would entice him to stay there, to stay on top? But is he a one-and-done championship guy going back to the Jets? Really? Now, of course, I'm a little partial because I am a New England fan and I don't like the Jets. But even taking that aside, let's say two teams that I'm completely neutral on. Let's say the Seattle Seahawks and the St. Louis Browns. I mean, St. Louis Browns. Wow. St. Louis Rams. Take those two teams, both division rivals, like the Jets and the Patriots. Seahawks, of course, have been to the last two Super Bowls, so they're on the top. The Rams haven't been to the playoffs in several years, so a little bit like the Jets. But just, if you say you could be on, you were with the championship-winning team 1 year, don't you want to stay there? Don't you want to build a dynasty as opposed to go to another team and just say, yeah, they offered me more money?
Well, I mean, with Revis, you know what? Yeah, he won his championship, but I think, Ian, it was more of winning the championship so he had something to bring back to New Jersey because his heart's always been in New Jersey. I mean, when we look at our divorce from Revis a couple of years back, because Revis continuing, I have to say, because I used to watch Hard Knocks, I used to get aggravated about the whole contract extension problem. Then he signed that extension, then complained about it again, which is why we had to deal him to Tampa Bay. But I mean, Revis, yeah, you could have built a dynasty over there in New England, but I think he just saw it as a chance. New Jersey's my home. This is where the team that drafted me. This is the team that built me into Revis Island, and I mean, I owe something to them. And maybe by winning that ring with New England, I have something to show the Jets that we can compete for championships.
Well, you mentioned the whole controversy with the Revis contract back in his first go-around with the Jets. Doesn't that give you the impression that since he was like that, then he bounces around, goes to the Bucks, goes to the Patriots, wins a ring there, doesn't it give you and then comes back to the Jets, doesn't it give you the impression that he's all about money and big contract, and he wasn't getting that big of a contract with New England that he was with the Jets? So I think you do have a point there, but you also have to look at it that this guy, a lot of his decisions are driven by money.
Oh, most definitely. But I mean, Ian, we look at it where the Jets were a year ago, how bad our secondary was, how bad the defense really fell apart. Mike Mangum had to really throw the contract at him, had to give him the big money. We need something because, you know what, the fans have lost so much over the last couple of years, and we needed to have Revis come in. That's what the big thing, what the big picture looks at is fans have been suffering. We haven't been to the Super Bowl since '69 when Joe Namath said, we're going to win this game, beat the Colts, the Baltimore Colts. And, you know, as a Jets fan, you want championships. And, I mean, even as a Jets fan, you suffer so much. We've had Chad Pennington, who's a great quarterback, go down with so many injuries throughout his career. We had Vinny Testaverde. We've begun to back-to-back AFC championships with Mark Sanchez, only to fail. And, I mean, as a Jets fan, you can take it from my point of view. I don't like to see the suffering, and I just need some excitement to watch on Sundays. Like, this year was just a total loss for me. I went to the Monday night game where we lost to the Dolphins, and I hated football. I never sat at a game and just was so disgusted at what I saw. It was like watching high school football. It was a disgrace.
Yeah, when you go to an NFL game and walk away thinking that's high school football out there, that's not a good sign. You're right, Rob, that the Jets had to do that, but because they have just been going in the wrong direction, it seems, every year, and it's getting worse. But look, the big thing that you can take away from this whole segment is that a lot of players make decisions based on money, and they want contract extensions and bigger contracts sooner. But then on the flip side of it, the average NFL career is 3 years.
Yeah.
So why not go for as much money as you can in that short window?
That's very true, but
Look, I'm on the other side. I say, look, you signed a contract. This is what you're doing. You say for X amount of years, I'm making X amount of dollars to be a dedicated football player, which means doing all the little things, going to the extra workouts, going in the off season, watching film, meeting with your coaches, meeting with your quarterback. But then you do have that other flip side. So there certainly are two sides to the coin. Of course, we're siding with that the players are a little greedy, but there are both sides to it. Rob, that is all the time we have on this segment. 16 minutes on the NFL. Very nice. Even in the offseason, we get a 16-minute segment in on the NFL. Very impressive. We'll take a quick break, come back, maybe a little baseball, maybe a little basketball. Who knows? That's why you have to come back. Morning Roast, Big Shot Rob, Ian Sachs.
This is WICR.